This season preview is brought to you by Manscaped's brand new Ultra Premium 2-in-1 shampoo and conditioner. This luxurious lather cleanses and nourishes in just one step. Using coconut water, green tea, and aloe, this non-greasy daily formula is naturally hydrating and rich in antioxidants to revitalize the look and feel of your hair. So head on over to manscaped.com and use the promo code SACCITY for 20% off and free worldwide shipping. The new Ultra Premium 2-in-1 shampoo and conditioner from Manscaped. Take care of hair everywhere.
The defending Super Bowl champions, the Los Angeles Rams, are next up on our season preview list, and this team has a lot going on. They had a lot of moves in the offseason, brought in a lot of notable names. Like when you look at the offseason moves, the Rams brought in like all the flashy player names. After winning the Super Bowl, they then bring in Bobby Wagner. They then bring in Allen Robinson. They bring in like the names. But let's go deep here. Let's go. I don't want to just pump the Rams tires here. I don't want to be building them up. I want to dive deep in breaking down the Rams in the season preview. So Aaron, with this offense, what do you think the biggest concern is?
I think the biggest concern has to be the running game. You talk about the players they brought in, but what about the players they lost? You got no left tackle now, and Andrew Whitworth gone. You get Joe Noteboom, which is nice, but there has to be something to be said about that running game. Cam Akers did not look good in the postseason last year. He hasn't looked great this preseason. Darrell Henderson and him both have been hurt. I think this offense has been predicated on the running game for a long time now, and I think it starts there. And you have to be concerned with what you're going to get from them. Sony Michel was a nice piece for them last year, and he's gone as well. So I would start there, but then you can also look at places like the Odell Beckhams and the Robert Woods. Yes, they bring in Allen Robinson, but Allen Robinson hasn't produced in a couple of years. I like Allen Robinson as much as the next, and I think he is a bit of an overrated receiver, I'll be honest. Yes, I said it. I think he's overrated.
How dare you? How dare you?
Let me finish. I think he's overrated in the sense of production. Like we talk about Allen Robinson as one of the better receivers in football. But when you look at Allen Robinson statistically, he hasn't really been that. Like he's had a few good seasons, but he hasn't been somebody that's been overly consistent over the course of his career. He's had, I believe, like 3,000-yard seasons, but it's been kind of up and down for Allen Robinson. He had a couple of good years in Chicago. He had one great year in Jacksonville. And most of the other times, it's been a lot of injuries and a lot of disappointment. So that's not very consistent to me. So I would be concerned about that. And I think you have to look at the Rams, the injuries to Matt Stafford's elbow or things like that. And you have to have some concern that they're not going to be able to duplicate the success they had last year. And just from the offensive side of the football, just that offensive line alone is a big Austin Corbett, Andrew Whitworth. Those are big losses in a run game that doesn't seem to be very exciting, at least to me, so far.
I just don't like your slander towards Allen Robinson. I think the offensive line has to
prove me wrong. Prove me wrong.
I would like Allen Robinson to prove you wrong. Right now, I cannot prove you wrong. Too. But I do think that Allen Robinson is going to have a good year. I think this is the perfect setup for him. This is obviously the best offense he's ever been on in his entire career.
Does Allen Robinson get 1,000 yards?
Yes.
The fact you're thinking about it tells me all I need to know.
Yes. No, I had a fact. No, shut your chest up.
It's a disappointment.
It's not.
If we're saying he's one of the best receivers in football, and you have to debate whether
I don't think he's like that. No, that's when you have to consider where like one of the best receivers in football. I never said he's one of the best receivers in football. Like he's on that tier, that high end. He is on the high end, the high end tier 2 list of wide receivers, in my opinion, in terms of talent and what he can do.
But that's not how we've talked about Allen Robinson over the course of his career. Allen Robinson has been talked about as one of the best receivers in football. Not like top 5. But
I don't know who
right now, top if I said name 15 receivers.
I'm sorry, you broke up there. What'd you say? Name what?
I said right now, would you label Allen Robinson as one of the top 15 receivers in football? And if I asked you to name 15 better, could you do it? My answer would be I could easily do it. That Allen Robinson wouldn't even be my top 25. That's my point.
I think he's in the top 25. That's where like a wide receiver too, like not to continue to go into like the fantasy talk of this, but like.
But I ain't talking fantasy. I'm not talking about like.
That's what I'm saying.
About what you statistically put up with a bad quarterback because you're the only guy on the team, like he did in Jacksonville or Chicago.
Like I said, I think he is around the top. I think he's a top 24 wide receiver.
I would
like that's where I have Allen Robinson. Like I would have him in my list of 24 wide receivers.
And I would disagree.
Yeah, no. But I think that's slander. I think really it's the offensive line that has to be the biggest concern. And obviously we're nitpicking with a team this good. But there's a lot of question marks revolving around this offensive line, obviously losing the pieces that they've lost. On the defensive side of things, though, there's obviously Jalen Ramsey, Aaron Donald, Bobby Wagner. There's Leonard Floyd. There's all these big names on this defense. What player might really like fly under the radar that you think has a big part in this defense next year or this season?
Defensively, I don't know if he would necessarily fly under the radar. I think that bringing back Troy Hill was an intriguing piece because I thought he worked well with the Rams. He knows how to play. He's really good in the nickel. I thought that was a nice move by them that went kind of underappreciated or under talked about.
Yeah.
On a back end that we know that Jalen Ramsey kind of anchors that back end, but they've used Jalen Ramsey in a little bit of a different way over the past season and a half. It's been kind of moving him around, allowing him to do things that he wasn't doing in the past. He's played some safety. They wanted him to get involved and be more of a playmaker. So I think having Troy Hill in the nickel allows Jalen Ramsey to do that more. Some of these guys in the NFL are really good out of the slot. And if you can get somebody that can lock a guy up in the slot, you can be free with your outside corners. And I think that helps with schematically how they want to use Jalen Ramsey. So the Bobby Wagner is nice. The Leonard Floyd bringing, guys in that have names, that have kind of a little bit of a resume is nice. But I think Troy Hill went underappreciated in this defense. So I thought that was a nice move.
Okay. All right. What are you looking forward to most when it comes to this Rams team? Like what's like what to watch for the Rams this year?
Yeah, it's duplicating success, but I'm gonna be honest. I know I don't want to keep harping on this Allen Robinson thing, but that's
son of a bitch. Don't do it.
That's what I'm watching for because I seen the explosiveness that Odell Beckham was capable of coming back to a team that wanted to use him and put him in a good situation. And I thought that was working out well. And now you go get an Allen Robinson. And I think Allen Robinson can have a similar impact. I don't think Allen Robinson's as explosive as Odell Beckham, but the things he can do in the red zone with his, go up and get it type of mentality and how reliable Allen Robinson has been over the course of his career when you throw him the football when he's been on the field is something that I do appreciate. I know he's really capable of. So I wonder where their explosive plays come from, though. Like Van Jefferson being hurt early in the season, right? We're not sure if he's going to play. No Odell there. Say what?
Lance McCutcheon, baby.
He's the 7th man on the depth chart.
Damn it!
Like he made the roster, which we weren't sure, so that was great. But he's the 7th guy on the depth chart, so I don't expect him to play much. But if he does get his opportunity, he's definitely gonna have to show out. But even then, he wasn't very I'm looking for explosiveness. Like Odell is take a slant to the house. I don't know that they have those plays, which means they have to go boom, 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 boom down the field and not make mistakes. And that's different for the Rams. Like they have had some big play, kind of explosive guys for a while now. And I don't know that that's there. Van Jefferson will definitely help when he comes back. So I'm kind of watching for where that explosiveness comes from. And Allen Robinson will be a sure thing, but I don't know if it'll be explosive plays, if that makes sense.
How concerned are you with that Stafford injury? Is there are you thinking about that at all this season?
A little bit, because when you deal with like tendonitis or something, it could linger, right? And it could affect you throughout the course of the year. Maybe it flares up again mid-season and you have to deal with some discomfort, or maybe you can't throw the ball as well. Maybe it creates a little bit of an accurate back, and the arm is a problem. I think there's something to be concerned with there.
You like the chatter about Cooper Kupp and him going on lunch dates?
I don't care. Listen, man, you get caught up all in that mental stuff.
I think it matters. I don't think the lunch date stuff matters, but I digress about that.
Football is football, man. If you can play, you can play. And they're both talented people, and they both can play football. I have zero concerns about whether they're going to lunch together. I don't care if they're going on dates together. I don't care what the hell they're doing together. They can go to Disneyland and ride. It's a small world together. I don't care.
Hey, that sounds like a dream date. I could definitely see when the Rams won the Super Bowl, they go to Disneyland together and they ride in a small world together, holding hands with the Lombardi Trophy right next to each other. This season might be a little different though. Let's take a look at their schedule. And Aaron, what are I don't mean to keep going back to you. I feel like I'm just leaving you high and dry here, but you are the lead analyst on this show. So Aaron, what are you looking forward to most of the schedule? What's the storyline? Maybe a matchup you're looking out for, or
I've said this, I think, a number of times with the good teams, especially. I don't really worry game to game what their schedule looks like. I think the Rams are good enough. But I'm just going to say it. We're getting close. I'm excited. I'm itching. I'm going to week 1. I think it's the test of the Rams. Defending champs, playing against Buffalo at home Thursday night. And we're going to talk about the preview of this game and what we feel about it. But I made my thoughts known. If you didn't see it, you have to go all the way back and check it out, or you'll have to wait until Thursday to see what I said. But I think it's a big matchup, and I think what happens in week 1 sets the tone for the new season. Is this going to be a defending champion that got complacent, that said, we won it, we did what we needed to do, and now we're going to kind of sit back, or are we going to still be hungry and go for another one? And I think I'm of the mindset, if I'm a Super Bowl winning team, when I flush it and I come back the next year, I want to put my mark on the season, and I want to let everybody know week 1, we're going back to back. And that would mean Buffalo coming in and the Rams handling business. So I think right there, but all those games in the middle of the season don't matter. They're going to be good. They're going to win games. They're going to lose some games. They'll be in the playoffs, and then that's all we really care about in the end.
Yeah, that's the thing with like the Rams, like these winning teams. It's tough to like really look in and judge what you're looking out for. That obviously that first showcase game is going to be huge for if the Rams come out, and you'll have to watch our prediction show, our week 1 prediction show, to figure out really the answers here. But if you were to have the Rams lose this game, is that a telling sign of how the season will actually go?
No, I don't think so. Buffalo's a good team. It would be just a loss to a good team. But I do think for the rest of the league, it would mean something. It's like, okay, defending champs already got knocked off. Like everybody, you know what I mean? But at the end of the day, no, I don't really react to week 1, week 2 losses like that. I do think there are certain teams that are motivated by week 1 games that need to come out and make a statement, not only for themselves as far as, but to send a message to the league. Like, this is not a game. Like, we're not messing around this year. We're really coming for something. I don't think the Rams are one of those teams. I think because they won last year, they have the luxury of just kind of, okay, we lose a game, we'll get right, like we'll fix it. I don't think it's a huge deal.
That's fair. Let's go into the prop bets for the Los Angeles Rams here. To win the NFC West, they're at plus 130. Cooper Kupp over 1,300 and a half receiving yards is plus 105. And Aaron Donald winning Defensive Player of the Year is at minus 105. Or actually, that's at plus 900. I didn't change that. That's actually at plus 900 for Aaron Donald to win Defensive Player of the Year is plus 900. Which prop bet are you locking and loading?
I mean, I guess everybody would take the over on Cooper Kupp since he's the best receiver in football and he's going to do 2,000 yards again, right? Everybody loves to say that.
Everyone loves Cooper Kupp this year. I hate this. I can't deal with it.
It's so annoying. Anyways, I'm going to take the NFC West. I think they're the best team in the West. I don't think Seattle obviously has much. Arizona, without DeAndre Hopkins, they're kind of in flux. And I think the 49ers with the new quarterback, I talked about them struggling to get to the win total this year with Trey Lance. So I'll take the plus 130 money, and I will take the Rams to win the NFC West again and probably make another deep playoff run.
Yeah, that was the easy money I saw there. And I think that Normally when I look at the odds for like winning a division, it's a little bit higher. I think that even odds makers think that the Rams are going to end up winning this division. But still, with the fact that there are 4 teams there, I feel like it's going to end up being, I mean, anything could happen, but I would lock in that bet as well with the Rams at winning the NFC West. Now we're going to end up doing our preseason power rankings on a different show. You're going to have to tune in on Wednesday live, but I think I want to do it here.
Oh, can I give my record first?
Oh shit, I forgot about the record. Go ahead. Where do the Rams finish this year for the record?
I'm just so disappointed. No, I'm just playing. I have the Rams going 11-6. And it might seem a little low for a Super Bowl champion, but they have a tough schedule. They play in a tougher division. Their first part of that schedule, they only really got 2 easy games with the Falcons. And I mean, maybe we say the Panthers are an easy game, but with Tampa, the Niners twice early in the season, which I don't love. I'll be honest, schedule makers, you guys failed on this one. Putting the Niners 2 games in the first 8 weeks of the season, and they don't play the Niners again in the second half of the season. I think that's just failed. Those Seattle games should be switched.
Yeah,
it's just that was an epic failure there. But yeah, so they got some tough schedule. They got the Chiefs, the Saints, the Cardinals late. So I have them at 11-6 though.
Okay, I have the Rams at 12-5. Really not that far off. From where you have them. I think obviously just maybe one win change, but I have them at 12-5. I think it's the status quo year for the Los Angeles Rams, at least during the regular season. And like we say with everyone else, it matters when they come to the playoffs. Let me ask we have 2 more things to talk about with the Rams here. We are going to break down their power ranking and where they fall. But is there any question marks when it comes to playoff time? For the Rams, is there something that maybe you're watching for, like status quo regular season, pretty much from where we both stand? Is there something you're watching for in the playoffs with this team, maybe that is a little different from last season? Or
I'll be honest, I'll just say it right now. Like back to back is hard. I'm not saying that they're not going to win the Super Bowl again. I don't think any of it mattered. Like I think everything to win a Super Bowl, you have to be so lucky. Like not only do you have to be a good football team, but things have to go your way. Injuries have to fall right. Everything has to go your way. Plays that matter, fumble that bounces on the ground has to bounce your way. To duplicate that over the course of a 17-game season, a 3 or 4 week playoff is so hard. There's a reason why we don't have back-to-back defending champions every year. Or in a lot of years. So no, there's not something specific that I'm looking for. It's how do they handle the success throughout the course of the season, and when they get to the playoffs, how have they elevated? Because they can't just be as good as last year. They have to be better because everybody else is going to be better. So how did you elevate from last year? That's what I would be looking for from them. But at this point, it's really hard to talk about that kind of stuff this early in the season before the season even starts because we don't even know what it's going to look like yet. All it takes is one center, one edge rusher, Aaron Donald, Jalen Ramsey to go down and get hurt, and the whole season's changed. So right now, I think they're just trying to maintain, keep a good steady pace, get into the playoffs, and then elevate their game from there.
Okay. So where do you again, we will give you our consensus preseason power rankings on our show on Wednesday. But Aaron, where do you specifically have the Rams in your power rankings?
Eighth.
Yep. 8th.
Yeah. See, this is what I think is funny. This is what I think is funny. People think we're still in 2021. Like every year in the NFL is different. So just because the team won the Super Bowl last year doesn't mean they get to be number 1 this year. Like, I'm sorry. That's not the way the world works. You're not number 1 just because you were number 1 last year. We didn't put Cincinnati number 2. And if I would have said Cincinnati number 2, everybody would have killed me. So like, and they didn't lose anything. They only got better. So like, why do we assume they have to be number one. I don't understand that. So I have them at number 2. As a matter of fact, I got lots of teams ahead of them. As you can tell, I got 7 ahead of them, including teams like the Packers who didn't make it, the Buccaneers who didn't make it, the Saints who didn't even make the playoffs last year, the Ravens, like all of these teams, I got higher than them. I got them at number 8. And if anybody has a problem with it, come at me.
Okay. All right.
They signed some nice names. They signed Bobby Wagner. They signed Allen Robinson. But why do we forget the pieces they lost? They lost Von Miller. They lost Odell Beckham. Are those pieces not as big as Allen Robinson and Bobby Wagner? Because I would argue they are. They lost Andrew Whitworth. They lost Austin Corbett. This is not something they lost Sebastian Joseph Day. Like, they lost Agbonio Okoronkwo. Like, they lost players, and they did not replace these guys. They lost Robert Woods. And I know he didn't play but a little bit last year. But so to me, we're so quick to look at the guys people get. Oh, they got this guy. They got this guy. But we're not looking at all the things, all the small pieces that gave them what they needed to win that championship. It wasn't just, Von Miller had a good game. It's like, what are the other pieces that made them successful? And I think we're missing that. And I don't know. I don't see them as being as talented. I don't see them as being as efficient or as good as they were last year. They lost Sony Michel, who was a big part of that team last year, especially down the stretch.
Rams fans, let them have it in the comments.
Let me have it, but it's true. Factual.